I'm not going to build my whole life around needing players to love my games. And that was never the intent. But today it's just like my reality. Today it's just like my spirit mantra. It's so viscerally real to me. I literally don't care today. I literally don't care. I'm like, quit. If you don't like the game, quit. Hello, friends. Welcome back to GM Philosophy in the Morning. I'm the GM Philosopher. Today, we need to discuss a very important thing. A very important thing that has happened to me recently, that has happened to me in the past, and that continues to happen cyclically in my life. And every time I come around to it, I just notice how awesome it is. And it's awesome for D&D. I ran, I think, some of the funnest sessions in the past week that I've run in a long time. I have 2 different campaigns going right now. One of them is with my full group from the Deepest Dawn campaign. I'm running games and start playing games right now. By the way, check out my games link in the listing. And I even have a new one-shot called Escape the Time Rift. Check times and locations. These are during way more manageable times. So make sure to check the listings because I'm posting new games sometimes. sometimes. And I may have one that you might want to join in. But I am running 2 game sessions. One is for my full Deepest Dawn group, and then one is actually a one-on-one group because I started one campaign of Darkest Dawn, but then I lost some players and things got mismatched, and so I ended up restarting it with the one solid player who was in there, Throck, looking at you, and it's going really awesome. In fact, the last 2 sessions, these have been crazy sessions. In one session, the player characters got pulled into a pocket dimension by an enemy, and now they're meeting with these like construct people who have spark energy in their chests, and they're trying to figure out how to escape the pocket dimension. And it's like a desert, ashen, barren world. And then the other, the player character with an NPC, kind of the key NPC, they ended up walking through a convergence doorway into a rift, and then they're not quite sure what happened. They possibly time traveled to the past. It is so hard to say because it's a mystery yet. But I'm just saying that there's some crazy fun things that happen in the games. And I don't know if my players had fun, but I had a good time. And I think that that is a really important thing. We have to have a good time as game masters if we want to run good games. And if we want to make it sustainable, we have to be running good games. But what made these games different than the games that came before? Well, this is a good question. Now, just to reiterate, this channel is all about empowering game masters to run better games. And what I've realized is that I run the best games when I stop trying to be perfect. And to be honest, if we're going to take this a level deeper, and we might get philosophical in this episode, guys, when I stop caring about running good sessions. And I'm going to go even deeper. This is going to be a wild thing to hear. Possibly even when I have given up to a limited extent. And I'm going to explain this. This is when I run the absolute best D&D sessions by far. And I've noticed this is a pattern in my life. This is also when I tend to do a lot of things better. This is also when I tend to date better, like when I'm more successful at dating. This is also when I tend to do better at my job, my job. This is also when I tend to do better with friends, is when I stop trying to be perfect, stop caring, kind of. And sometimes when I kind of have halfway given up, but I'm still just going through the motions. And I'm going to talk about that. As an Enneagram Type 3 and a game master and a goal-oriented, achievement-focused person, the truth is that I can care a lot. And sometimes I care too much. In fact, this is such a recurring theme in my life that I have a catchphrase for when I realize I'm doing it. It's more caring not to care. And the philosophy behind this, and this is just something that I've come up with for myself, it's very specific to me. The reason why is because I can tend to get so invested in things, and I try to get better and better and better at them, and I try to be perfect at them, that I can actually really burn myself out. I can really end up kind of like coming back around and just doing too much. And it's not needed. Like I can try too hard and then be less effective at the thing. That happens a lot. And it used to happen more. I'm getting better about it as I get older. But this is absolutely true with D&D, right? So lately, when I look back at some of my more recent past videos, I realize that I've been in a space where I have been caring a lot. Probably too much, guys. In fact, I want to give a shout out to Dirty Socks. Dirty Socks actually literally sent me a message saying this. He sent me a message, and I'm not going to basically, I'm not going to share all the things, but he did send me a quote. He says, "The greatest imperfection is the pursuit of perfection. Society sustains the myth, and the journey continues until we discover the cost living in the dark." And that phrase, the greatest imperfection is the pursuit of perfection, I think Dirty Socks was literally telling me, and this was like 4 videos ago, like literally telling me, I think that you're maybe, I don't know if it was like, that I'm trying too hard, or that, that I'm caring too much, but he was sensing it. And I think it's because we're kind of similar in that way. So shout out to you, Dirty Socks. You were right on the money with that. And I just came to a point where I think I was trying too hard, caring too much, taking it too seriously. Not to a point where I'm saying, oh, we shouldn't take things seriously, blah, blah, blah. Life should all be a carefree, hedonistic party where we literally don't care about anything. Burn it all down. That is not at all what I'm saying. But there is something that happens when we care too much, when we're trying too hard, when we're trying too hard to be perfect, too hard to be successful, too hard to sell the thing, too hard to date the person, too hard to succeed at the job. There's a thing that can happen where we can come off inside of ourselves as like, we kind of like exhaust the data. We're trying to go faster than is natural. We get into a bit of a scarcity mindset, even a little bit of a desperate mindset, right? Maybe, so when it comes to gaming, it's like desperate to give your players a great experience. Okay, it's a good idea to say, I would like to give my players a good experience. I'm going to try my best. And then we can leave it at that. We don't have to push it further than that, right? We really don't have to. And I'm preaching to the choir, friends. I'm not trying to preach at you about this. You probably know this better than me. I'm the one who has trouble with this. so I'm making this video. I'm also in 2026 trying to make an effort to make my videos more honest. Okay. So I'm being very vulnerable with you guys right now. I'm being so vulnerable. I'm even going to drink my Rockstar. Watch my pupils dilate as I get that hit of caffeine and the rush in my system. Caffeine is my drug. It takes me a full action to consume a drink of my energy drink. No bonus actions here. We gulp it. Anyway, so with that being said, I'm trying to be more honest. And here's what I think happened. I think that I was really gung-ho like 2 weeks ago about running paid games and making them work. Then I I was hitting like problems and challenges, but that doesn't matter to me. I just keep plowing forward. And then what happens is I did reach some point, and this is the magic tipping point. I reached a point of like, I would say, disillusionment. I reached a point of like existential disillusionment. I reached a point at some point, I think, where I decided, okay, this is not a career path, right? I really did. I reached a point where I did the math. And at first, like, in the beginning, I had crunched the numbers, but I thought to myself, well, it's going to be very close to the best case scenario. I'm going to make it happen. But then as we were going on, I kind of started to think, I think that even if I do the best I can, it's just not going to work because I'm relying too much on outside factors. I'm relying on like all the players. I'm relying on, the platforms, and there's just different things. And then I will admit there's even a little part of me, a little doubt started to creep in that said, maybe you're not a good enough GM right now to make the paid games happen. And this processes in my mind. These things like swirl together and they start to escalate and accelerate until I reach a point of what I call like critical mass. And at critical mass, I usually give up on the thing. Like, now here's the thing is I don't give up like for good. What'll happen is I'll just reach a point that day where I'm like, I've given up. I'm giving up. I'm not doing this. Like, this is not going to work. I'm abandoning this mission. Like, this is what I will do. But I don't like take action on it. I go to sleep and I wake up the next morning. And here's what happens after I reach that point. I'll wake up the next morning. And by the way, this happens with YouTube like 4 times a year. I'm like me trying to succeed on YouTube. I will like burn out like this at least 4 times a year and do this. So this is not like an unusual thing for me. Like I have gotten to a point in my life where I have really recognized this cycle. So then I'll go to bed and I'll wake up next morning and I will have experienced like a reset, like all of that driving energy, all of that ferocity, that fierce determination that I had the last few weeks where I was just driving incessantly toward this goal. It'll all kind of gone. And I'll just be left with a simple, do I want to do this today? do I really want to do this? And I'll let myself off the hook. I'll realize that if I don't care about it, I'm probably not going to continue it. And then I'm probably not going to try to be perfect at it. And that seems to release a ton of pressure. It seems to release me from all of these things that have been tying me up, right? And then I'll say something to myself like, I'm not going to like quit it, but I'm going to show up today, but I'm not going to like kill myself to do it. I'm not going to like burn myself out. I'm not going to go so hard that I make myself unhappy. So I'm just going to show up and just kind of do it. I'm not going to be a perfectionist at it. I'm just going to do it. It's just, I decided to just show up. And I completely let myself go. Like I completely let myself off the hook for doing any kind of good job. I just decided I'm going to show up and do my thing. Blah, blah, blah. When I do this, when I reach this point in the cycle, this tends to be when I have the most fun doing things, whether it be making videos, whether it be working at my job, whether it be dating, right? Whether it be playing D&D, anything. This tends to be when I have the most fun. Also, I've noticed a correlation, and this, I'm not noticing this for the first time right now, but I'm documenting it right now for you. I have reached a point where I realize that I also tend to do my best when I don't care. Like with dating, when I don't care about impressing the girl, I am usually the most impressive, as it turns out. When I don't care about running a great session, actually, turns out I run better than average sessions for me. When I don't care about publishing a polished YouTube video, tend to produce kind of banger videos. They get more views than usual. And not all the time, but like, sometimes. And I'm going to be honest with you. This is one of those videos, man. I showed up today burnt out. I'm burnt out as can be. And part of that is because of work stuff. A lot of that is because of work stuff. And work stuff has burnt me out across the board in life right now, I think. So I'm showing up here today just to show up and make a video. And I wanted to, this is a topic that I don't think is going to get very many clicks inherently. I don't know if it will. It might. I don't care. I don't care. How about that? And the fact that I don't care is the whole reason I decided to choose this very honest, vulnerable topic. Because this is what I was thinking about today when I sat down to record. I'm just showing up, man. I'm just showing up to do it. And I'm showing up to talk. And I'm showing up to connect. And I'm showing up to further the mission because I don't want to give up on YouTube. I don't want to give up on running games. I don't want to give up on my goals. But today I can't show up with ceaseless perfection energy today. I can't. I don't have any of it. I don't have any of it. But I can show up. I can show up and just do my thing and be me and be natural. And you know what? I think there's a part of me that if I was that way all the time, it would probably be better for my life. But here's another thing is that if I was like that all the time, then I don't know if I would be as motivated as I tend to be. Because when I go through these cycles, they're kind of like a month cycle, maybe a month, sometimes 2 months or 3 months. But I'll have like a really long, like 60% of that cycle is me being intensely determined and goal oriented. Like I'm extremely motivated. I would say I'm so motivated. And I just have this inner natural motivation that is fueled by rage and darkness and the desire to become what I want to become in life. And so this is like, I see this as a good and a bad thing. It is sort of like a curse and a blessing. In some ways, I really am glad that I am this way, but in other ways, it is exhausting. And also, I notice that when that motivation tapers off and I kind of reach a burnout point, like I kind of need that burnout point. Sometimes I will make a lot of like labor progress during my motivated times. But it is the intellectual processing I do when I've reached burnout and then slept on it that actually helps me to solve problems and move forward strategically in intellectual ways. So it's like I get motivated and I just push physically, but then I will have these periods of reflection and burnouts, and then I will make, I would say, higher up decisions about how to move forward better. And that fuels my next motivated period to make more progress. I think it's very dysfunctional. I think I should go see somebody. Hold on for one more action while I take another drink. But yeah, it's caused me to realize that maybe there's something here for everyone else. Maybe there's something here for you where you can say to yourself, you know what, maybe I'm caring too much about D&D. Maybe I'm trying too hard to be perfect. Maybe I'm trying too hard to like wow my players. Maybe there's a value to just showing up and letting it run its course and just showing up and being myself and trying to have some fun while I'm doing it. This is a lesson I need to take to heart about my job. man, because my job has been burning me out lately. But I also realize that I've been in a cycle of being really motivated at my job, which is like a vicious trap. Don't get so motivated at your job, especially if it's not a forever job, that you burn yourself out, man. Just show up and be yourself. Be your cool, awesome self, and do your cool, awesome best. What cool, awesome best means, without just destroying yourself chasing perfection. Be okay to fail, man. Be okay to look silly. Be okay to, be a little bit of a failure sometimes. And then don't make that the reason that you don't love yourself. Don't make that a reason to, like, be down on yourself. All right. That's what I had to say about this, everyone. Empowering game masters run better games is the goal. Hit that subscribe button and that thumbs up button, man, if you want to hear more philosophical meanderings like this, or if you want to hear more intense discussions about how to be a better game master. I don't know. Drop a comment. Let me know what you want to see on this channel, guys. I'm documenting my 2026 journey to become a full-time paid GM. I'm going to be really honest today. I don't really care about it. I just don't care. I don't really care about it. I don't know if it's going to work out or not. I think that I could force it. Today I don't know if I want to force it, guys. I want to enjoy D&D too. If I think that if I'm going to make the paid GM thing work, I think that I have to just be fine with saying, like I've been talking a lot about player churn. I literally don't care today. I literally don't care. I'm like, quit. If you don't like the game, quit. And that's fine. I'm not going to build my whole life around needing players to love my games. And that was never the intent. But today it's just like my reality. Today it's just like my spirit mantra. It's like, it's so viscerally real to me. And I after running the games I ran this week, I had such a good time running those games. The players, I had so much fun with the players. We had such good games. Like, all the players just showed up and did such a good job. And and it's like, that's the magic. I felt that magic this week, man. I felt that D&D magic. I hadn't felt it in maybe a long time. And part of it was, I think, because I was trying too hard, man. I wasn't just showing up and being myself. And I also let myself off the hook for that emotionally. So I think there's a lesson in there for somebody. Okay. All right. There we go. That's the end of this one. Leave a comment. Join the Discord. Links in the description, guys. I care about all of you. Run some great games this week. Roll some D100s for me at your next game. I'll see you awesome people on the next one.